welcome to this episode of Keep It Positive, Sweetie. And today we are talking about being a boss, okay? And I have none other than the biggest boss lady herself, Kimberly Blackwell. Oh my goodness. First of all, Kimberly, thank you so much for coming to sit on the couch with me today.
First of all, you called me and was like, sis, will you do my podcast? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it was an honor to be asked. I'm extremely proud of you. You know it. I say it all the time.
You give me my
all
flowers.
the time.
You are like,
and I'm just so excited for all that's happening. And, you know, I like being a sideline spectator and watching your big life. I'm just proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I remember when I first met you, DeAndre Tristan, a brother of ours.
Yeah.
Shout out DeAndre. We love you.
Oh, what's up, DeAndre?
Super talented stylist. Just amazing. I met him on Good Morning America because he styles Robin Roberts when I was still styling Tyler. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got cool. And then you came in town and he was like, come have brunch with us.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we met, and we ran into each other a few times after that. And then Soul Train Awards around 2021. We ran into each other. That's when we reconnected and swapped numbers.
But let me tell you something. What's interesting too is that I'm really big on energy.
Yeah, me too.
So for me at lunch that day, I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
Because we vibed. And I'm very selective in where and how I kind of, you know, everybody will say, oh, Kim, you know everybody. And I do know a lot of people, but there aren't a lot of people that I will take the time to nurture something meaningful. And for me, when I saw you again, I was like, oh, okay. And we were able to spend some time together. You know, I have some great clients. You were worthy of an opportunity. And so we did some business together.
Yeah.
And from that, we went to eat.
Yeah.
And we yacked and
Remember
yacked and
I asked
yacked.
you, I said, did you want to bring, I know who you had in town. You was like, no, just me and you.
Yeah.
I was like, I get one.
Yeah,
time
you
with
treat
you.
me like I'm talent. You know, I'm like, I am that person where I am very humble. I know from where my blessings flow. And I, you know, stick and move very quietly and selectively. And a lot of folks, you will see me show up places by myself. I don't need an entourage. I have a lot of great friends, but, and I've also learned trick of the trade.
What's that?
You get better things without a plus one.
Ma'am. Yeah.
Free game.
Free game. That's free game for y'all. Listen.
You don't always need a plus one.
Yeah.
And I will say that in a lot of opportunities, I've been very fortunate that way.
Yeah.
But I knew that evening when we had dinner that it would manifest into something that I cherish now as a sisterhood.
Yeah. I just appreciate you. Like every time I call you, you just, first of all, the energy, like you said, the energy is top tier.
Yeah.
Everything you do. I mean, can y'all just look at the woman like?
No, first of all, don't even, so we keeping it real. I was like, so what's the vibe tomorrow? She was like, girl, I haven't even gotten that far. So, you know, I didn't know what to wear.
Yeah.
I'm coming to your beautiful home,
Thank
right? But then you walked outside and I was like, oh, that's what we doing today? Because you know, you got your own game.
You set the bar though.
So you know what, fun fact? And I told you, so I am a hyper private person and we'll talk about that. But I said, I'm gonna give a little, this is my girl, I'm gonna give a little bit to her audience. But fun fact, I've always enjoyed expressing myself through style.
Yeah.
And so a lot of folks, their first job may have been McDonald's. Mine was retail. So I was working at TJ Maxx. I was working at, you know, the Gap. And so my freshman year of college, we had a magazine called The Happenings. My freshman year, who was the best dressed?
You. I already know it.
So
been there.
I kind of been doing this.
Like B said, been on, been
what?
down.
What? Oh,
yeah, literally.
We're coming off a Renaissance, clearly.
You know, clearly we're still on the Renaissance.
Yes,
right
we
now.
are.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I knew and I literally went to my class. Okay, what would Kimberly wear? You know,
and Kim came chill today.
Kim can't chill, but Kim still.
Kim came chill today. Again, I just, you know, I feel like a lot of times, you show up in a way in which you express your energy. I knew here I wanted to be very authentic. I knew I wanted to be very comfortable. I'm actually a little bit afraid because I'm like, if she gets me in an Oprah, you know, I needed to be prepared, but I'm ready for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. When I think about being a boss, the first song that comes to mind is Independent by Destiny's Child. All my women independent, throw your hands up at
Come on,
me.
Soft Flex. Come on, you can sing.
Because
sing, girl.
Me.
I can't sing.
I was up screaming last night watching Beyonce, so my notes are a little off right now. But no, I want to give them a little background of who you are, because a lot of people may not. I mean, even me, like, it's still like a mystery about you. I was like, it's just something about, and I love that you keep that mystique, because that's what keeps people curious.
Yeah.
And you can just fly under the radar.
Yeah.
People not knowing you in the room is moving the room. You know what I'm saying? Shaking
One
things
of the
up.
top questions is, now what does she do?
Literally.
I mean,
literally.
You know, there is a lot by way of how I spend my time as a business leader. You know, I own and operate a business. I sit as an LP, as an investor. I'm a serial investor across various funds. I'm a corporate director in a publicly traded company. I wear a lot of hats, and I also, in a lot of cases, serve in a function of crises management and mitigation. So a lot of the stuff that you all see,
That's
you don't see me.
We don't, but it's you. Okay.
Yeah, I might be there.
Yeah, recently, the Gathering Spot.
Yeah.
That was a big public thing, and the Gathering Spot is so huge in our community. And you were very vital.
You know why? There are a lot of lessons in that.
Let's talk about it.
And let's talk about that, because I think that for me, what happened was I was traveling. So I didn't know how things had hit the public airwaves. And I had come home from New York, and a friend had sent a DM, and it had some stuff around it. And I was like, you know, I knew both CEOs, but I didn't like what I was seeing by way of the media. And as Black business leaders, and these are scaled businesses, these are not mom and pops, it really hurt me at my core that was the narrative, and that one, you know, we were at odds publicly, and that two, you know, it was a merger and acquisition deal. I do a lot of things around M&A, and there are complications to that. And so for me, it was like, you know, both CEOs. I called Ryan Wilson first, and, you know, it was not to be involved. It was actually to check on TK Peterson to make sure that he was okay.
Love
And because of the friendship that we have, he shared some things. At the end, folks will tell you, I'm a vault. I value, you know, confidence in folks being able to share things privately. And I said, well, you know what? I actually think that this is something that could be resolved. I said, and if you're comfortable, because I didn't want to break confidence, I'd ask you to allow me to do what I do.
Ooh.
And so he said, you know, if you think, you know, it's worth your time, I'm open to it.
Wow.
I called Ryan Glover. He called me right back. And what I want to say about Ryan Glover is that his baby is like my baby. Haley, she goes to Syracuse. I love her to death. But he and I did not know one another well, but, you know, he felt comfortable. And, you know, one of the things I would say to folks is that, you know, I stand strongly on my reputation.
Yes.
And what I hope it is that I'm not messy. To your point on privacy, I try to keep my name out of a lot of things. But as a business person, I'm shrewd. But I'm also very compassionate as a leader. And he immediately gave that opportunity, and we huddled up. And for about 9 or 10 days, they were very long days, but very meaningful days. And there weren't a lot of people around. TK, Ryan Wilson, Ryan Glover, and myself.
Wow.
And we were able to resolve it. And the bigger messages, you know, Forbes had headlines, $1 million mess, and all these different things. is that a lot of things can be resolved through communication. And they wanted what was best for everyone. And I told them, guys, the gathering spot, as you mentioned, you know, here in Atlanta, LA, like, you know, across the country, it is powerful in what they've built by way of community.
Yes.
And so it meant that much to me. And always I tell folks, I like to use my superpowers for a greater good. If I could be a bridge to see that happen, because there are a lot of people who look like us, black folks, that I felt like could have stepped in to help this out sooner. And we have to understand that when we are put in positions of influence, it should be to impact always positive. Because I also believe that when God gives you superpowers, they should be used for a greater good, but he also sees if you have something, you're not using it the right way and abusing it, quickly as he gives it to you, he will take it away.
Absolutely.
So again, it worked out. And, you know, just a lesson in how we owe it to our ancestors and we owe it to our next and future leaders to get in the way.
I love that. I love that you stepped in. You put your Olivia Pope white hat on
A little bit.
and fixed it.
It's handled.
It is handled. Okay, I love it. I love it. So you were born in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a household with both parents played basketball and volleyball growing up, and you talked about how your mother would call you and your siblings geniuses. Let's talk about the impact of receiving words of affirmation that actually built the confidence and strong sense of self-worth and self-belief at a very young age.
Yeah.
I know it's so important.
It is very important, and I feel very blessed and fortunate. My parents last week celebrated 55 years of marriage. They met in the 4th grade. They went to prom together. They went to college together. You know, that doesn't mean that they have not probably had, you know, their own ebb and flow. What I do tell people is that if it was really bad, we never saw it.
Right. Same. Yeah.
We didn't know, you know? And so to that point, I've been very blessed and fortunate to witness everlasting love. They are one another's best friend. They travel the world together. My dad writes love letters. My mother calls him her boyfriend. But to your question, at a very early age, my mother was a school teacher. She retired as the superintendent. But we would come home from school and see kids in our dining room. And I'm like, who are these kids?
Right.
But she was a hands-on teacher who believed fundamentally in making deposits into others. And so not knowing their circumstances at home, our home became their home.
Wow.
And so we were instilled at a very age the power of giving back. And I subscribe to the belief, to whom much is given, much is required. And she does to this day. She calls us genius, you know.
Wow.
And so those words of affirmation, her being an educator, I started school at a very young age. I was started at 3. I was advanced to grade. Girl, I pledged as a teenager, you know.
Can you tell what she pledged?
Facts.
I see it.
But that said, there was never a time that, you know, we were not, like, where we didn't feel that we could be anything that we wanted to be.
That's so
and we had the support of my father and my mother. My father lived, I mean, we grew up watching him as mayor. But what I also saw was that he put his family first.
Oh, that's good.
So all of my games, as you mentioned, being an athlete, were on his schedule. So he would come no matter what he was doing, running the city, running the state. My father has always made time, and we have never doubted God first, his family right there as well.
I love that. That's so good and so important, because I know, like, especially the things that your mother was doing for those children.
Yeah.
A lot of them weren't getting that at home.
Yeah.
And education goes past the hours of
It does.
8
It's a
and 3
village.
o'clock. Yeah. It keeps going once you get to do the homework. That's where you really get all the lessons you need. So,
and then
that's
like
amazing
today,
stuff.
you don't know. The kids are going home. You know, they don't have food.
They don't.
You know, they're going home and they're being raised because mom and or dad has to work 2 or 3 jobs, and you know, big bro is like holding it down. And so I think we have duty to make sure that we are looking out for those. I don't even want to say the least of these, because sometimes it's not just the least of these.
No.
We have duty to look out. Period.
I love that. That's good. That a duty to look out. Period. I love that. What did you learn about partnership, whether personal or professional, by watching and witnessing your parents and being a part of sports teams? I know I was an athlete growing up.
Yeah, I know.
That has carried me through my, just that discipline.
There you
it's
go.
something about like being in an organized sport or something organized in school that just carries, like you push through. Like I got constructive criticism very early on.
Yes.
I was able to take it because our cheerleading coach, we were like the competition cheerleaders. So like, it was hard.
Yeah.
She didn't care if your bone was sticking out. You keep going, like nose bleeding, keep going. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you know, that's like, you know, for me to have played sports competitively, I think, as you mentioned, life lessons, teamwork, camaraderie, role playing, sacrifice, commitment, discipline. You know, I am very big on, we also had the house, going back to my parents, that was like, everybody came over to the Blackwells after school. So we had the basement, everybody was in the basement, you know, and I just really think when I look at partnership, particularly in a household, I saw that marriage really isn't 50-50.
Talk about it.
There are shifts. A lot of times, and most times, it may be 70-30, 80-20.
Yeah.
But, you know, do you have a partner that understands the shifts?
Yeah.
And do you have a partner that can celebrate you at all times? See, my mother knew that my father's profile was his profile, but my father knew that he had a baddie too. And he could celebrate her and lift her and know that when it was her season. And so you really want to look at where and how you find a partner or a mate that is secure. Because, you know, when you're blessed and fortunate, it could be challenging.
Absolutely.
You know,
let's get into that, because
we can
it
go
is
there.
tough.
It is. And I am of the belief that I am very humble. I promise you I am.
You are.
You know, because for me, it's just, that is who I am at my core, right? And so it's always funny, people are like, you're so personable. Well, why wouldn't I be?
Right.
You know? So that's how I was raised. But what I will say to you too is that it takes a special guy to understand my world.
That's real.
And not my Instagram world, my real life.
Hey!
Because I am, to your early point, I'm going to give you what I want to give you on social platforms.
I'm the same way.
That's what I choose to give you. But the privacy as currency, the anonymity, there's power in that. I like that people don't know what I do.
I know that's right.
Those who need to know. And so what I will also tell you too is that when you're dating and looking for that mate or partner, what I also have learned is that it takes a secure man to deal with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about secure. And what I'm not willing to do is to dial back my blessings to accommodate any insecurities, because they don't go away. And so, you know, when you think you are making all of these, like, you know, they're there.
They're there.
Now, they may have like little spikes here and there. But what I try to, you know, say, not just for men, again, you in that space, you know, is that we really want the things that don't cost a thing.
That money cannot buy. That is so true.
Can I get a listening there?
Okay, you've been listening to my phone calls.
I'm just saying. And so, and I don't, for me, I date and I have very good men around me. So, in case any of them watching, because, you got about 1 million followers.
Right.
But where I am right now and going back to what you asked and what I've witnessed, I know what it takes to be sustainable. Because you can have a great partner and it can be a great season of dating. But when you hit a bump, what's up?
What's up?
What you doing? And for what I know in where women are today, young women who are very aspirational, you can have both. I've seen it. I've seen it. But it does take a special kind of mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I went through years of my life where I was like, well, maybe love is just not in the cards for me. Maybe that's the things that, no, I mean, I'm experiencing now, but like, if I was like, for a while, I was like, maybe I'm like, I used to joke, like, I'm gonna be like Oprah, just give me a Stedman, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be good, And I don't even know the particulars of their relationship, but we know what
But you know what? We know it works for them.
It works.
You know what I mean? And so whatever works for whomever, you like it, I love it.
Period. Exactly. Oprah, we love it.
Oprah, we love it. We love to see it. Hey, Stedman.
Yes. Hey guys, if you know me, you know that I'm super big on health and what I put inside my body. I've been known as the vitamin lady, the supplement girl, probiotics girl, all the things. But recently I started taking AG1 and that has eliminated all of that. I get everything I need in one scoop. And even with my crazy travel schedule, they have these to-go packs that I can take, just throw them in my bag so I never miss a day. Guys, this tastes so good. When I take it, I feel so much better. It has immunity support, gut health support. It even helps with my mind and clarity. It's really all the things that I need in just one simple drink. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/Kips. That's drinkag1.com/Kips. Check it out. No, seriously, and I was like, God, maybe a part of me, and I don't know if you've ever had this feeling or a season in your life where you're like, God, like, if you have everything in the world, everything, and it's like, I don't have anybody to share it with. I had seasons like that where I was like, dang, and then I was like, well, maybe that's not in the cards for me. Maybe that's the sacrifice of having it all, or not having, you know what I'm saying, having everything else, you know what I'm saying?
I honestly believe you could have it all. I've seen, my parents have it all. You know what I mean? So, but I do believe that my parents also met, remember,
Fourth grade. Yeah.
And so for them, they grew together.
Yes.
And so when you have folks who are at different phases and or stages, for me, like, everybody's like, man, you gonna have to date white. He gonna have to be.
You gonna have to go to Dubai, get you a print, something.
Or
Kimberly Blackwell.
I just firmly believe that what God has for me, it is for me, and He will be mine and only mine.
I know that's right. Speak it. I love it. That's so good, man. It's definitely been.
But I like how you just said, cause see, I didn't know if we were like, I like how you said, I found it.
Yeah, and it's still early. You know what I'm saying? We're getting to know each other, and we've hit those. You hit a bump, you like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like we hit those, and it's you. Like, have to step back and communicate, you know what I'm saying, learning each other and just realize.
But you know what's funny? Like, I've seen you in dating cycles.
You have.
Yes. And this is different.
Yeah. No,
this is different.
Yeah.
And take your time.
I am.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of times we want to rush things, I'm probably more patient than most.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. I believe it. For both of us.
I've already claimed my victory.
I know that's.
But you know what? In fairness, there are some things that I have to work on.
I'm learning that even in this relationship, there's things I have to work on. Yeah.
And that's okay. That's growth.
It is, Wow, I love that. Speaking of things you have to work on, for me, therapy has helped me realize, because I was kind of oblivious to things that I needed to work on. Until I started doing therapy, thanks to my manager, Dinorah, who introduced me to my therapist, Dr. Delana Zimmerman. And
I saw that episode.
Yeah, oh, you did?
I support my friends, okay?
Appreciate you. No, but like I was like, oh my gosh, like Crystal, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I can say this, sometimes I look and like, I got it all together. And then you meet somebody, you're like, wait a minute, we're putting two different lives together. And you realize, oh, I still got things I need to work on.
Of course.
You know? So I love that you can do that self-inventory. And be like, there's still things that Kimberly needs to work on.
Extremely self-aware. Now, my friend might say differently at times, but I'm extremely self-aware, and I know my areas of opportunity. And for me, it's just the consistent behavioral changes that I sometimes need to make.
Yeah.
You know?
Same. We there.
You gotta, you know, you're thinking for two.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I am extremely considerate. And what most people will say is that I have a giving heart, almost to the point where I'm too giving.
Yeah, I'm. Now you on my street. As Dr. Darius
Pull up,
say, you on my street. Yeah, I give, and be like, and I had to have a conversation with Tyler about this, about, and I can share this with you because you probably feel the same way. So, have you ever found yourself like you give, and you feel like you're not getting it back, and you're like, dang, you start to kind of get frustrated?
Yeah, let's shift gears out of dating relationships and go to friendships.
Yeah.
I have gone through some things where, when I tell you I am a girl's girl.
You are.
What?
You are.
And I will give beyond measure. But what I realized too, and this is not anything against, you know, any particular friend, it's just that I realized that I needed to stop expecting me from other people. Because the things in which and how I would operate as a friend may not be the way they would operate. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that I needed to manage and shift my expectations.
Yep, absolutely. That's what Tyler told me. He was like, take money out of it, take what you do out of it. And Dinorah said the same thing. A lot of times, whoever you're sewing into may not sew back into you. And Tyler's made a great comment. He said, you know, Crystal, he said, I used to look around and be like, I'm doing all this for these people, and like I'm not getting anything in return. And God told him, Tyler, they can't do it to the level you do it. They'll never be able to do what you do for them. And he said, you just got to look at their heart. How do you feel when you're around them? And do you feel loved? Do you feel
true.
Peace? And I was like, wow.
That is so true. And I realized that, like, you know, different friends have different gifts. You know, and for me, I love a good time. I love to laugh. You know, so I pay attention to energy. I make the shifts as needed. Who am I laughing with the most? And when I'm having a hard time, who's recognizing my hard time? And are they sometimes giving me a hard time in my hard time?
Ooh, Kimberly.
Yeah, that part.
Ooh.
So, you know, where and how I look at my peace now. How I'm given the Heisman in separation is intentional, but it's not to be received in anything of malice. It's just where I am and how I'm looking at things and what I need for me.
I love that. That's so good. That's such a good point. But I want to double back to like dating. You and I are both, I'm a very hyper masculine, or not hyper masculine. Let me go back.
No, you ain't hardly hyper masculine.
No,
you are not.
I'm a nigga.
Well, no, okay, so keep going. You can say it the way you want to say it.
But yeah, I'm hyper independent. I'm super independent, but because of my independence, it does create this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you kind of got it. Like, I'm you know what I'm saying? It's this facade that comes up, or this persona where you're like, I'm him, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
her. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And does that interfere with like
Well,
dating?
you know what? So here's what I'll say. I realize that I own and operate a business. I realize that I sit in boardrooms and I go in and I am asked to lead by governance and solving. I know that that requires a position to sometimes be stern and direct, but I realize too that that's what I do. That's not always who I need to show up and who I am, especially in a relationship.
Yeah,
Men need to feel needed.
they do that.
You know,
do.
and so, you know, what is it and how is it in my soft girl era, right, that I show up as a woman and understanding. I subscribe to the word. I know what it means to be submissive.
Yes.
I have no pride. I tell, hey, I have no pride with you, babe.
Yeah.
No, none.
I love that.
So I can allow myself to be vulnerable in a relationship that I find is worthy and meaningful for me to show up that way.
Yes.
When you start breaking down, like I used to date this guy and he used to say, cool ass Kim, you know, because that was the energy
That you gave.
that I gave him initially, but he broke me.
Oh.
Ow. Okay? So, but you want, you know, I want a man to be a man. I'm not a man.
Exactly. Hello.
And in all that I have to do as a leader, as a manager, as a provider, sometimes I just want a hug.
Baby.
What?
Yes.
Sometimes I want you to say, you know what? Pack your bag.
Let's go. Actually,
Where
don't
we
even pack it.
going?
We'll shop when we get there.
What? You know, so you want
Yes.
someone to recognize what you may need, but you also have to be deliberate and intentional about what they may need.
Absolutely.
And I tend to over-index in that because I realize God is so good to me. I'm talking about so good.
Yeah.
And I know that there may be some disparities in the things that actually don't mean a lot to me.
Right.
But I recognize that and how men and or whomever may need to process that with their partner. Because I don't want anyone to feel inadequate.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
But what I do want you to figure out is, what are you giving me that no one else is?
Yes. Oh, that's good. That
You know?
is so good.
And why and where is it and why is it that I run to you when I'm having a bad day? That I run to you because I can depend on you to bring a smile to my face or an inside joke.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
You know?
Yeah, that is so true. That is, oh, so good. We often talk about faith. You don't hide your faith.
None.
At all. And I love that. We've gone to church together.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Yes, we have. I mean, again, I'm unapologetic in my faith.
Yeah.
Because when God has been as good as he is and will be for me, I will not hide it.
Yeah.
I also know that in my darkest hours and time, it's been me and him. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And so to know what he has done, I'm talking about, you know, folks, these kids, you know, they go on Instagram and they see XYZ. They want the instant and immediate gratification. You know, I drove a Honda with a hanger that held my bumper up.
Wow.
What? 600 square foot apartment is where I started my business.
Yes. Wow.
Scaled it. Multi-million-dollar enterprise. I write 7-figure checks to go into investments. But for the grace and mercy of God.
Wow.
And so for me, I know from where my blessings flow. And if you have a problem with me talking about how good he is, then we probably not going to talk a lot.
Hello. Because he's gonna come
We
up.
talk all the time.
Yeah.
Because we can say, and it's not a brag or a boast. It's a praise.
It is a praise. Ooh.
You know? Because
good.
like I said, you know, for some folks, favor ain't fair.
And it ain't. Let's touch and agree on that because it ain't. God has been good to us. Favor is not fair. I definitely want to touch on that because I know.
Yeah,
that's
I'm glad you did because
yeah.
that's a huge part.
Of who you
know, if you
are.
come to my page, you know, folks come to my page, they want to see, oh, you know, she got the pieces, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I do.
She
But
always has the pieces.
but that's not why I want you to come to my page.
No.
I promise you, I don't. Have I figured out that may be what lures people to my page? Yeah, I know that. So I give a piece or two.
Yeah.
But why I really want you on my page is for that social Sunday sermon.
Yes, you're going to give it to us.
Because I'm going to give it.
Yes.
And I'm going to give it along with the word. Because if I can have and touch one person on Sunday who may be struggling, who may need a word,
Yes.
who may not know him, but can see what he has done for me. Because if he can do it for me, he can do it for you.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I tell everybody around me, if you see what God is doing for me, what makes you think he won't do it for you?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times you got people around you where they may be jealous or envious or not even understand, like, why you? And not even thinking, I'm next. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look around and be like,
How do you see, again, I'm flipping it.
let's do it. Yeah, let's talk.
And I'm mad at myself that I waited too long to flip it. How do you deal with the fact that you are in a season to where God continues to show you things unimaginable? You have folks in your circle who may not be excelling at the same pace. How do you deal with friends who really want to be good friends, but you see? Because you know, we do see it.
We see it.
How you deal with it?
Well, actually, I just talked about this. I'm going through a purging season where God has revealed a lot of things in my life. Yeah. And I think oftentimes people like us who are givers, and we also see the good in everybody. Even when they're not so good, we see that little bit of good. We're like, nah, they're a good person. And you just love them and you just want them to see the good in themselves and change. And I literally had to just start setting boundaries and be like, you know what, this is no longer serving me. And sometimes people they're in their own way. You know, they see that you're climbing and they're still in the same space. And it's been like that with not just friends, family, relationships. I've had to like just really take inventory of everything around me to see who's really here for me. And then you start looking at the people that are entitled, you know what I'm saying, to what you have, and the people who have shown jealousy, envy. And envy is a really dangerous thing when it comes to friends. It's really dangerous with anybody. You know, anybody that's in your circle. It's scary.
It's very dangerous.
It's very
dangerous.
dangerous.
Let me say this. It's dangerous, but you know what else? It's disappointing.
It's heartbreaking.
It hurts.
It does.
I mean, it hurts badly.
Yeah, and it's lonely. It's like once you make that step to be like, hey, I can't do this anymore. You go through a phase of it's a breakup.
Yeah.
You know, and it hurts so bad. It's like, God, like, why couldn't this person just see it or just be happy and like, because you know what I'm saying? We all rocking together. We having a good time together, but they in the corner like,
And like I say, you know, for me, like, you know, I try, and this is what I've learned, and I would challenge you this.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a breakup. It does not have to be a breakup.
Okay.
The reveal is just that, a reveal. And what you can do is maintain the friendship, but it will be different.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you have to have a conversation with that person. Like, how do you, or do you just move different?
So, you know what? You should have the conversation, but I have had it where I have not.
Same. I have
You know,
to, yeah.
but I actually think you should have the conversation. In a real friendship, you should be able to have the conversation.
Well, if you had the conversation a few times.
Man, you coming into my Bible study. Reverend Cordelia Wallace, New York. We do Bible study on every Saturday, and she has a great group of women. Shout out to Simone Smith, who put me in the Bible study. But what I will tell you is that we talk about that in leadership lessons and learnings, but also in friendships and how They evolve.
Yeah.
After a certain number of times, then you have to really maybe count it as this isn't, you've tried.
Yeah.
You know? And, you move differently.
Yeah, yeah.
You move differently.
You do.
Yeah.
And this is a person, I have one situation in particular where like, just love her to death, you know, and it's more so like you just need to like work on yourself and figure out what that is, where that unhappiness is stemming from, figure out the root.
Trauma is real.
It's real.
Trauma is real, and sometimes we don't know what others have been through.
Yes.
And you could be friends with someone for however many years, and you just don't know where and what they're navigating still.
Yes. Still, yeah.
You know, I pay attention to, a candle loses none of its light by lighting another. You know, who and how are people clapping when you get those awards and recognitions?
Baby, John Gray talked about that. He did a whole sermon. He was like, God watches how you clap when it ain't your season. I said, wow.
And what I try to do is I always try to clap. I am the person too where I will bring people's names.
Yes, you will.
Into the room. I am always looking at, and I do think that is one of my superpowers.
Yeah.
Because, I firmly believe that your network can determine your net worth. I move in a lot of circles.
Yeah.
I always challenge people. It is very easy to stay in circles that look like us. Get up and get out.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to that lunch or that outing, go. You never know who is in the room. I sit at tables and am in deals with a lot of men, men period, and men that don't look like, you know what's interesting? Wow. Some of my biggest advocates are men, and men that sometimes do not look like us. Some of my biggest distractors are women that look like us. Keep it positive, sweetie. I said it.
Hey, that's the truth, though.
You know?
It, yeah.
But what I realize is that even when I know that, I stay true to who I am.
Yeah, you keep it positive, sweetie.
What? And when you do that, you get past into the other side. And what I've learned, and this is a lesson that my mother's taught me, you always take the high road. I'm going to say that again. Because a lot of times we in these situations, you always take the high road. It will never fail you.
Wow.
And when you take it, it hasn't failed me. And so even when I know, and we said that earlier, stop expecting me from, I take the high road.
Yeah. Wow. You sound like Michelle. When they go low.
When they go low. And my dear friend Candy, when they go low, she go lower. But she's a great person, so I
Candy.
say that.
Yes.
She knows I love her.
Yes.
But what I will say to you is that for me, I would rather, because everybody had the three sides of every story, and they're going to tell their story. I'm not the person who runs and feels the need to tell my side. I move in silence.
Yeah, you do.
I know what road, I know what I did. I know how I did it.
Yes.
I know circumstances and what and how I tried to always stay as a catalyst. Tell your story.
Yeah. That's cool. I ain't got to
We
tell
good.
mine. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You're a real one.
And
for
I
that.
also think too, people also, you can tell, the story, but people are paying attention to how you telling the story.
Yeah, they are.
And they also paying attention to how the other person isn't.
Yeah, they're like,
Because again, you don't
have to.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't have to do it. That's so good. I love that.
What would Jesus do?
He can keep it moving. Let them talk. I love that. So, Kim, you are man, your resume is crazy. You've worked with a lot of Fortune 100 companies, such as Nationwide, Chase. Uber actually got to do an activation with you at Nationwide.
Nationwide is on my side.
Amen. I'll sing it for you. Nationwide is on your side.
Come on, jingle. Come on. Al.
I'm
going to make sure they see that.
next season, sponsored by Nationwide.
Hey, because that's how I move. What? That's real.
I love it. I want to talk about your experience because oftentimes I'm sure you're the only Black person or Black woman in those rooms. What is it like gaining respect from your non-melanated companies? Because I know you probably like in there by yourself.
What I like to say is that I have great partners. I mean, great partners. You name some of them: Nationwide, Uber, Amazon, Chase. I mean, Food Lion. Most of my clients have been tenured clients. I've been doing business with Nationwide for 14 years.
Wow.
I've been doing business with Food Lion for when I partner with a corporation, it's not to be here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
What I love about them is that they actually allow me to go in from an agency of record side as a brand partner, but to learn the entire business. I consider myself a business leader. I'm an owner-operator, so I understand the sales, marketing, the intersectionalities, what it looks like in growth channels. I won't do all that, But all of that said, what they also understand is that I know consumers. I know what it looks like in the sense of business transformation. I work with companies that are low market share that now over-index because they go into the African American community. They realize our purchasing power.
Yes.
They go into Latinx communities. They look at women. They look at millennials. So, and they let us do it in a way that may be a little bit non-traditional. I was talking to an officer at Nationwide literally yesterday. And she said, Kim, what you did for us at Black Enterprise, you brought, and I took Yandy Smith, I took Ming Lee, I took Rashida, and we talked about, these are 3 women, scaled businesses, multimillionaires, different channels of business, but that's a different story for a financial service provider.
Yeah.
But if we don't understand who our consumers are as it relates to protecting what matters most, then we're doing a disservice. And so they can tell their stories in a way that leads to understanding what financial freedoms look like, what generational wealth looks like. So what I love and what I get to do is that, I get to bring a little bit of culture to commerce, to capital, to consumers, and where and how companies or corporations, global corporations, think differently. And, I go in and do a little corporate thugging as a lifestyle,
Yes.
Lifestyle.
But you do it well.
Ow.
I love her. Ow. I love it.
And you know what I say too, it's important because what I love about what I get to do is, boardroom, pool hall. I tell folks, my name is good on any boulevard. And when you understand the power of knowing who you are, whose you are, and how you work with others and understanding the full diaspora of a community, it just really becomes game changing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, and let me say this too, because you asked the question. People want people on their team to win.
Yes.
You mentioned sports. I'm built to win.
You are.
We ain't playing small. We don't win by 2, we win by 20. What?
Period. Okay. Literally, and we know you love your sports.
We know I love my sports. Sports enthusiast.
Miss
I'm
Kimberly.
going to a Reds game. Fun fact, we've been owners in the Reds since 2006.
Wow.
So, you know, where I get this whole
Yes.
business investor and seeing that, you know, and what that looks like for folks who look like us to be in Major League Baseball. I want an NBA team. Y'all hear that?
It's coming.
I want an NBA team. But, you know, for me, sports is a part of my outlet.
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
We go to the games.
We do, yeah.
You know, we have fun.
We have a
and
lot of fun.
the games are an experience.
They are.
You know,
Especially
I love
in
the Hawks.
Atlanta. It's fun.
And they're, shout out Melissa Proctor, CMO of the Hawks.
Will.
There's nothing. Will.
We love y'all.
Everybody.
Yes.
Jamie, and we love you all.
Yes.
There is nothing like an Atlanta Hawks
It
game.
is nothing like it. I tell people all
You're
the
going
time.
to get a swag and a surf.
Okay.
You're going to get a little bit of performance. 2 Chainz might be performing.
You never
but,
know.
you know, Atlanta's finest.
It's just a great experience.
It is.
Food is good.
Yeah.
Great. We got a good team building. It's
I've been a
amazing to
season
watch.
ticket holder now for over 10 years.
Wow, because you now I've been going on my 2nd year because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was so proud of you. Because those tickets ain't cheap.
They ain't cheap.
I was like, baby girl is doing it. What?
But I learned
She
from the
said,
best.
I'm coming to the flow.
I'm coming. I said, move out the way.
Hey.
I'm putting my girls over y'all these things.
But I will say this to you too. You never know just what that means. Because you would be surprised at how many people come up to me and say, it means something to see you as a Black businesswoman go sit, feet on the wood, courtside.
Baby,
Knowing, you know, that, and I thought about it like, dang, I never thought, you know, I'm just strolling out to my seat. I never thought of But for me, it changed how I looked at a lot of things because folks see what they can be.
Yes.
And how they too.
Yeah, you did that for me. You did. I was in the actually I was in the Atlanta Hawks suite last night in the beginning of the concert, and one of the guys who helps like keep the score for the team, he sits right in front of me. And it's always like a gesture like, hello.
Yeah.
And I never knew his name. And he was like, he's like, this is my wife. This is Crystal. He said, you probably don't think I know, but I watch your shows on BET. She's like, she has 2 shows on BET. I was
love
like,
it.
wow.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, she sits right behind me. And it's just like, you never know who you're going to sit next to.
Yeah.
Literally, one game, I was sitting next to one of the owners of the Sacramento Kings.
Yep.
His wife loved my boots. And then I found out who he was. And I was like, one of my castmates is from there.
You better spit more free game. What I will tell you is that those seats have led to very lucrative business opportunities.
I can imagine. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Like the people I've met just going to games
Proximity
and chatting. Yeah.
is a real thing.
So to that I say thank you. Because you exposed me to something, you know, that I didn't even, I see people down there, but I never knew
And we
anybody.
did. We were going to the game. You like,
I'm like, wait a minute, this is nice.
kind of.
I like this.
And you did it for yourself. And I'm extremely proud.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Can I say something else too? I just thought about this.
Yeah.
So for your 40th birthday party last year, you invited me and I was like, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah, thank you.
So think about it. We hadn't known one another that long. Now we have fast-tracked the friendship.
Yes.
And I say this because you don't have to be friends with someone for 15 years to click and then know that that will be a special person in your life for years to come.
Yeah.
Right? And I arrived by myself. And guess what table I was at? Table number 1. And for me, while I was there to celebrate you, I could have been at table 201. I was there to celebrate you.
Yeah.
But seeing and sitting with your parents, seeing how you curated that table with those who minister to you by way of faith.
Yes.
Not to mention, of course, you had Tyler Perry at table 1. You know, it really meant something to me in a way of what and how God has blessed me with you.
Wow.
Seriously. Wow. Because I was thinking to myself, like, she could have had me anywhere in the room. I know a lot of people in Atlanta.
Not Kimberly Blackwell. I'm
But,
not about to have you
but I took that as the highest form of compliment.
Thank you, because that's what it meant for me. I was like, I want her at my table.
You just, I don't even know if I've ever expressed that to you. You just did not know to how you cemented yourself. And a special, there's nothing you couldn't ask me for that I wouldn't do. Now that was before the party.
And you came back in time, like you made time to come back.
Let me tell you something. Going back, whether it's dating or anything else, people are like, oh, Kim, I didn't want to ask you, you so busy. I am. I'm always busy and gonna be busy. I need to be busy. It beats the alternative.
Hello.
But you're never too busy.
That's a word.
You're never too busy for the things that matter. And you create the time. You make the shifts. You inconvenience yourself in a way that it does not feel like an inconvenience because it's an act of love.
Thank you.
And I show up for people. And that's another thing. If I had to look at what I hope people see is that she shows up.
Oh, you show up. You do. I've seen you do it for other people too.
I try.
Wow, like Kim, you really do. And I'm like, how does she even have the time?
But remember, that's an example of my parents.
Yes. Wow, it goes back to that. I love that. Code switching is so real.
Yeah.
And you say, yeah.
Yeah.
But what people admire most about you is how unapologetic you are. You dress, you walk, you speak, you show up as yourself in every single room. I want to know, other than the words of affirmation that you received at home, how did you just gain this whole, just like the way you even walk into the arena, it's like, who that? Like you have this confidence, and what made you be like, I don't have to switch it up? Because I've been victim of that. I used to work on Capitol Hill, and I'd be talking, hey, what's up, man? All right. And then good morning, Senator Alexander's office. How can I help you? Like, completely.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like that's a part of my superpower. I think that when people connect with you in your purest form of authenticity, I don't have to switch up. I know I'm well educated. I'm dual degreed. I've, gone to Harvard, what? Are you kidding me? Cornell, you name it.
Was this in my notes?
Let me just say, shout out to Dinorah for
Baby.
doing her homework, because as a producer, she had just about everything. That might be one little small thing that she missed. But I will tell you, when I saw where and how we were navigating this discussion, one of the most well prepared that I have, and I do a lot by way of media, a lot. So again, but going back to that, and that's always just knowing too, when you talk about making those deposits, you always want to make sure that you are continuing to level up. I never rest on any laurels. And I say that even by way of my clients, the clients that I've mentioned that I've been with for over a decade, I never rest on any, somebody always chasing. I'm looking, you ain't catching me. Nope. And so with that too, I think people do business with people they like. And I also believe in how you show up is with receipts and proof of performance. When you put the points on the board, they don't have to be your bestie. Remember, they want to win.
That's it.
And the other thing is that I advise many C-suite leaders and beyond corporate America, many high-profile people, they need to feel connected to you. They need to know you are a person of integrity. They need to understand your character. And my character is that, I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable, one day being in the White House, another day hanging with, my friend Pierre Thomas, AKA P from QC. I can go and switch, but it's not code switching.
You ain't switching though.
No,
the environment
I may
switches.
switch, exactly. The environment may change, but I go in consistent. I will tell you, when I'm spending time with people who don't look like me, what I think they like about me is that I show up 100%. as who I am.
I love that.
And we have fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I
you
love
do.
immersing myself with smart people.
Yes.
And brilliance comes in many forms.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be degreed. I am, but you don't have to be for me to learn from you.
Right, absolutely.
And I can immerse myself on the boulevard and learn. That's what I want. That's why I spend so much time with young people. You know, you know Rachel Jackson.
Yes, love Rachel, baby. We love you. So
if I'm looking at Rachel, you know, there's a reason. People are like, you always with her. Guess what? It's mutual. She's teaching me things.
Yeah.
You know, I literally, you know, yesterday got a text from Desi Banks. I love what Desi has done in how he has built a mogul enterprise around content.
Yes.
So what people think they're calling me for, because here's my thing. Secure people help other people secure the bag. So for me, one thing I'm good at is securing the bag, right?
We know.
But what they don't realize is that they are also teaching me.
Yes. Wow. I love that. You spoke on how you work in a performance-based industry where it's all about the points on the board. They want the win. Does that create any stress or self-doubt or anxiety for you? And if so, like, how do you navigate stress and anxiety in your job?
So here's what I'll say, going back to how we started our roots. You know, I'm a performance athlete. You know, I'm a corporate athlete. You know, so I actually like a little pressure. You know, I do. You know, I want you to think that I might not win. Because I'm winning.
Period.
You know.
Period.
And so for me, just that whole drive. I tell folks, and I heard you tell Dinorah that she works, you know, as hard as, you know, Beyonce does. No disrespect, Dinorah, but I think that there are not a lot of people who outwork me. I work. And that's what I also like for people to understand is like, you know what, they can say all that stuff, but you know what, the folks that I work with and partner with as corporate leaders, they will tell you, she works.
She works.
So all that little fluff you all see, she works. They know I am, you know, mitigating crises at 1 a.m, 2 a.m. I am doing all sorts of board decks and, you know, I lead ESG on the board that I'm on, you know. So for me, I embrace leadership opportunities because I play to win.
Yeah, you do. I love that. You carry yourself with a lot of confidence, dignity, and a strong sense of self. And you have this undeniable don't try me energy about you. Don't, sweet as pie, but don't try her. Please don't try her. I want to talk about the challenges of being a woman in the business. And if you were a man, of all this would be celebrated, you know what I'm saying? But being a powerful woman like you are often is called challenging. We're called challenging, difficult, and a bitch, for lack of better words. Have you dealt with any of that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you show up and you show up confident. Now remember, confident yet humble.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But confident.
Yes.
Prepared. Over prepared.
Oh, you have to be.
Over prepared. Collaborative. There are techniques that I use because I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
I show up
and it's already
and
like,
the presence.
Yeah.
There are certain things I can't control.
Absolutely.
You know? And so I try to present myself with humility, but I am going to, you know, I was talking to a board member and she's like, Kim, what I love is that you're very direct.
Yeah.
And I actually asked, like, you know, direct in a way that's off-putting? She said, absolutely not.
No, yeah.
Because I'm also coachable. And I think that's what we also have to be is coachable.
Absolutely.
And realizing that I never want it to be that I don't feel like I'm growing. And so, you know, I don't know Tyler Perry. But like for me, like I want to talk with a Tyler Perry so I can pick his brain and actually make some deposits.
I know that's
like
right.
I love to be around people who are constantly in elevation mode.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So whether it's Oprah, whether it's Melody Hobson, you know, whether it's the Thunder Duckett, you know, whether it's Roz Brewer, you know, I want the people that I see, look to and admire because they've navigated things that I aspire to navigate.
Yes, I love that. So good. Love some Melody Hobson.
Yes.
Love some Tassandra.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, powerful women.
Yeah.
Wow. You also talked about how your privacy is currency.
Yes.
And which is good. Like I love
Actually,
that.
though, let me say my privacy is currency and I am hyper private.
Yeah.
But you got me a little bit today. You did.
What'd you say?
She got me. I'll take it. I don't talk about my private life.
Yeah.
But I do think that there are gems and nuggets in a macro share that we have to do better as women. We have to do better as Black women in sharing more of the lessons, learnings.
Yeah.
And some of that, you know, is inclusive of the warts. You know, I'm always like, man, somebody needs to tell us all the stuff that nobody said it was cool to tell.
Yes.
And so, you know, as I look at, you know, ways in which I'm trying to navigate content, I want more stories too that actually focus more on the warts.
Yeah.
Because I've had some, you know, warts, and that's professionally and personally. And I think we have to get comfortable with understanding that, you know, people relate more when, you know, they see the human side of you.
Oh
you know?
My gosh, yeah, because I'm saying
because everybody sees this facade of all the good,
highlights.
you know, you know, and I tell folks, you know, you see the glam, you know, but you don't really see the guts. And so, you know, a lot of times folks don't see that I'm in my office in Ohio and I'm in there, you know, 14, 16 hours a day, if not longer, you know, and I'm there on the weekends, you know, and all of the sacrifice and, you know, what comes with being an owner operator. You know, all the stuff folks don't necessarily talk about. But, you know, I think as we get more comfortable in who we are, we almost owe it to others to kind of take off the mask. I started a women's conference and summit, and it's really geared towards C-suite corporate leaders who don't really get an opportunity to kind of just be. And it's called Accelerate Her. And it's a community that we've built, not just for the summit, but how do we as women and women of color and Black women use our superpowers collectively. And a lot of times you have all these summits. You have the summits that the corporate leaders go to. You have the summits for the culture. No, what I did, honestly, was I just went through my phone. And I was like, you know what, I'm calling all the baddies in business and beyond.
I got
the high performers. You did. You had a conflict. You was on some like global escape. You know, you look on, we don't know where you are in the world, but I gave you a pass.
I had to go see my girl.
But I did call.
You did call me.
You did. That's right. I forgot.
I had to show up for her show one.
Okay, you did. You did. Soft flex number 2.
But next year I'm there.
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna beat you there. I ain't gonna beat you
because
there.
what I realized too is that just as I mentioned how sometimes my distractors are women I look at, there are far more women who are trying to do good than the few bad apples. You know? And so what I wanted to do was to look at how we brought all the good apples together, to look at how we drive policy changes, how we drive changes in business and corporate America, how we get women more contracts, how we had Lovey Ajaje Jones to come in and do a book workshop, because guess what? Not enough of us are writing books and telling our stories. So I had told her, I have women who are not authors. Come up with something. Guess what? She did it. She called me. She's like, girl, you done changed my life. Guess what? She now has a book academy so that anybody can go and learn from a 4 times New York Times best-selling author. Because one day I feel like I have at least 3 books in me. I definitely have a podcast. But I need more time.
Oh, we can't wait for that podcast. I will be your first subscriber.
Well, subscriber, I'm going to need you on, because I already know the name. The
What's
name is Unapologetically Boss. I've already trademarked it.
I love that.
Because you know what? What I feel at my core is that everybody has the potential to be a boss.
I love that.
And that does not mean you have to work for yourself. You can be a boss inside of someone else's organization.
Yeah.
You can be a boss in your community. You can be a boss in the choir.
Yeah.
But what is it and how is it that you identify your superpowers to unlock, unload, and unleash into whatever type of change and impact? Because where I am right now, it's not about success. It's about significance.
That was a word. It's not about success, it's about significance. Wow, Kim. Oof. That's good. I heard you moan over there. She said,
Yeah. Because a lot of times we focus on the success part.
We do.
And for me, going back to core tenets, I told you take the high road, it'll never fail you.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is when you do the right things for the right reasons and in the right way, God takes care of the rest.
Yeah. Wow. Whew, that's good. You just dropping all. I hope you got your collection plate. You catching all these nuggets, because, honey.
And if you take the collection plate, pay it forward.
Oh, we better talk about. You better get out my notes.
Okay.
But I was going to get to that, but there's something you and I both have in common. We worked in politics.
Yeah.
I interned when I was a junior in college for Senator Lamar Alexander on Capitol Hill in D.C., and then in turn got a job my senior year, and I ended up leaving school to finish my last semester online, and I worked for the Senate for 2.5 years after school before I moved to Atlanta to pursue.
I remember when I learned that. You told me all this when we were in Baltimore traveling together, and that's when I learned your story. And actually, that's when I was like, she's got it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I found out you worked in the Obama and Trump administrations as a member of the National Women's Business Council. First of all, how did that even come about? Like, that's
so
huge.
It's so crazy. So I was appointed National Women's Business Council during the Obama administration, 2011. This speaks to another thing that has been fortunate for me in that Donna James was then leading the council. I knew Donna. Donna was actually the person who told me that I should go into my business full time. I started my agency as a side hustle. And I always tell folks, your side hustle can become your main hustle, right? But she was the one who really pushed me. And I was like, man, I'm getting my check every 2 weeks. I'm good. She was like, you have something that corporations pay for in the way in which you think differently and are able to bring business impact in the sense of driving it forward. So Donna was appointed first to lead the council. And she called me and she said, I need for you to serve.
Wow.
And what I also say is that, one, people see things in you before you see it in yourself. But what I couple that with is that if you are a known performer, again, it goes back. People want people on their team designed to win. When I was appointed to the council, it was designed, it's the National Women's Business Council. Our three kind of stakeholders are the President of the United States, Congress, and the SBA, Small Business Administration. So our focus was, how do we get more women in the sense of access to contracts, opportunities, capital, because we are underfunded, yet we are the highest and fastest growing population of business owners.
We are.
And when we look at organizations and VC, currently under attack is the Fearless Fund. You know, and if we didn't have organizations like the Fearless Fund or Collab Capital, where I serve as an advisory member that with Jewel, Melanie, and that team, they are giving monies to scaled founders in areas around innovation and underrepresented groups. Those programs and funds wouldn't exist if the monies were going to them. If you look back at women of color, a fraction of 1% goes to female founders. Remember, I'm a female founder. I'm a Black female founder. Founded my business out of a 1-bedroom apartment.
Crazy.
Self-funded. Nobody gave me any money. I didn't go to mom and dad. Self-funded. Now there are programs designed to help. There are funds designed to help. And so for me to sit on that council, it became a way as a catalyst through public policy for me to drive forward that change. And I really and firmly believe that, you know, in order for us to look at how we impact, we have to have women and men who are courageous and convicted, who are willing to get in the way to shake it up for others when they can't. And so, you know, I served on it. I was supposed to roll off, but then Carla Harris, who I love dearly as well, came on and she said, sis, I need you to stay. And I stayed longer and extended my term. And because it didn't matter to me who was in the White House.
Okay, I was
because the women who needed the funds hadn't changed. And so we need to make sure, and this is my position on politics too. You know, we need to make sure that we have folks in the room, in both rooms.
Hello.
Because if we don't have folks on the other side, who's speaking up and how we driving the change?
No one. That's so good. Wow. No one gets anywhere alone. I want to know, who are some people that have played pivotal roles? You just spoke of a few women that have played pivotal roles to help you get to where you are today.
I mentioned Donna James. I mentioned the way I look at Carla Harris. I serve as a member of the Executive Leadership Council. It is a group of Black officers of the Fortune 1000 that rank within 2 of the chairman of those organizations. At the time when Carla was the board chair, they were not really accepting entrepreneurs. We were not the basis of how that organization was founded.
Right.
But she said to me, Kim, you know, we need people who think differently. And at the time, I never really thought of myself in going into the organization. I'd always been an advocate and a partner outside and driving my member companies in the sense of the PMM portfolio because I believed in its mission. And she was a primary advocate in me, you know, getting into that organization that I take a lot of pride around how we change how corporate America does business. So Carla, Donna, you know, I've also had women step up who don't necessarily look like me in the sense of our melanin. You know, it was a woman, Asian, Philippine from the Philippines, that put me on my first corporate board.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so again, I go back to where I met her at Gwyneth Paltrow. She hosts something where founders get together, very small group of us, and we're talking about how we change the ecosystem, what it looks like, and also just really looking at restoration and where and how we build community. I served on a panel. Afterwards, talked to her. She was a CEO of care.com, spent 90 minutes with her, and within 6 months was on my first corporate board as a publicly traded corporate director.
Wow.
I say that because, again, I don't take lightly where I am invited into rooms. And so mentorship, advocacy, sponsorship, while many do it for me, I'm going to do a multiplier for others. And so when names come up for board opportunities, I bring up names. When names come up for corporate sponsorship and, you know, how we look at personal service agreements, I bring, you know, names up. Where I am focused now is just as I go back to that significance track. I'm really big now on where that dash and, you know, what my life I hope represents is I really want to create a lot more Black and female, not just millionaires, multi-millionaires.
I know that's right.
Right? And I believe in the power of monetizing content. I believe in the power of media.
Yes.
I believe that a lot of folks sit in positions of talent. I want them to develop the rigor and the muscle around business ownership and what that means to kind of create currency from their talents. You and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about this whole writer strike and how you have learned the power of diversifying your streams of income.
Yeah, I was going to call you and ask you about that.
I was. And I was proud again to hear where and how you're doing it. You know, I tell folks, you know, I've been fortunate to build wealth in investing in real estate, commercial, residential, investing in art, developing a collection worth 7+ figures. When Jay-Z talked about art, I was like, what? Tell him, Jay. Right? And through business ownership creates wealth. And so when you look at all these different streams and you look at the ways, and just like I said, if I had a book, passive income. How am I making money when I'm asleep? Okay. And I'm also looking at too, how do I, because I sit in a lot of deal flow. They call me deal flow diva, right? I sit in a lot of deal flow. And what I say to folks too is I can help you with the deal. But I am very shrewd. So I put myself in the deal. I know the value of what I do. A lot of people can't afford me.
Right. Hello. Yeah.
But it comes in various forms, you know? And so do you want 100% of nothing?
Right.
Or do you want 80% of something that, you know, can change your life?
Exactly. I know that's right. We're going to close with you giving just a few tips on what you would tell young women who are trying to be businesswomen just like you, get in these corporate spaces, because some people just don't know. You know, they're trying to navigate certain things. What are some tips that you may tell them to even navigate those spaces? Or even if they're battling with like the insecurity and fear of like, how do I go in these rooms and carry myself?
Yeah, I'll give you a few nuggets. So one, understand what you can afford to do and not to do and when. I knew when I could afford to make my side hustle my main hustle. I tell folks, learn in corporate America, learn in wherever else. On their dime. Develop the relationships that you may change to where they become a client. Learn systems. Look at software. Look at, you know, where and how, you know, companies are thinking about innovation. Learn AI.
Ooh.
We ain't even go there.
We not going there because that's why we're on strike. That's part of the reason why we're on strike right now.
Why?
Because they can literally scan our faces, take our voices, and just pay us a small fee and create a whole movie, TV show with everything. They don't need us. Ma'am.
Oh, see, I thought it was like, you know, I got the little macro, the writer strike, and you know. But what I will tell you,
they can
and
write,
that's a shame.
Write too.
That part of it is. But let me say this, going back to AI. Figure out what you can do that AI can't. Because what I will tell you is that there are forms in business where AI is going to create efficiencies in business.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not going to need to pay. It's just it doesn't sound good, it doesn't feel good, but that is what it is.
Wow.
But what I will tell you too, going back to some of the other things, find a tribe. One that understands what it is that you're wanting to do, not necessarily the how, but you're going to need cheerleaders. That doesn't mean they have to be in your day-to-day, but it does come in many forms. And when times get hard, you're going to need someone or some bodies to help cheer you on. Always invest in continuous learning. I mentioned Harvard, Cornell,
Yes.
Northwestern, Dartmouth, all of them. I continue to invest in my learning. So it may not be the Ivies, but go take a webinar.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and learn something.
And the Ivies now have online courses that you
They
can
have that too. And you can go and look up different things and find community. Because a lot of times too, there's a great information share across community. For those folks who are wanting to go into business for themselves, there are tons of programs that actually where there are dollars that we are leaving on the table.
Wow.
So go and do the homework as it relates to grant funding and where and how you may be eligible to get support. And then I would say, you know, stay the course. Whether you're working, you know, for yourself or for someone, there will always be hard times.
Yes.
And you have to be so committed to your course, unwavering. And if you're God-fearing like I am, stay in your word.
Yeah.
Because there are so many lessons in the word that will guide you and bring clarity to chaos that we face on a day-to-day. You know, and, you know, shoot for the stars.
Yeah. It's good.
You know?
Hey, y'all, you got it straight from Kimberly Blackwell. I mean, I don't know what more to tell you or to give you. Okay?
It's been fun.
It's been amazing. Thank you. Wow.
Can we go eat?
I'm so hungry. You know, I'm not eating all day. Like,
because you're working. She hustling.
I had a half a bagel. Like, literally, that's all I'm eating all day. I'm starving.
Yeah. Wait, let me say something before you sign off. And I've said it throughout. What I love and what I'm seeing is how women and Black women are showing up for you. They don't play about Chris. And I, you know, it's a force that you cannot engineer. And what I would say to you is to embrace it and understand that the favor that God has put upon your life is something that I know that you will steward in a way, but just know that you're not doing it just for you. You're not doing it just for your family. You're doing it for the almost million, but will be millions that pay attention to how you live, because your life is, in the way in which you sing, a soundtrack for so many.
Wow. Oof. Kim. Wow.
I said what I said.
That. You said what you said, and I received that. I received
and I mean
it.
it.
Wow. Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I am so full. We're going to do my favorite part of the show, which is called Positive Outcomes, where our listeners write into us and we give them advice.
Okay.
So it's a listener letter, and this one says, "Hello, Crystal. I'm a 49-year-old detention sergeant in Polk County, Florida. I've been in law enforcement for nearly 20 years and want to start a new career. My passion is decorating. I have a decorating business, a travel agency, and I make custom Crocs, all my part-time jobs. My dream is to open up my own venue. Since COVID, my business took a huge hit because the venues closed down and now they are too expensive to rent. I have been praying and asking God to lead me in the right direction and provide me with the resources I need to open my venue. I'm tired of living in fear of what might not happen and of failure. I'm also tired of working in a career that is no longer fulfilling. How do I get over my fear and pursue my dreams?"
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's for me?
Or both of us.
Both.
Yeah, so I'll say I had the experience working on Capitol Hill. I did it for 2 years, and I got to the point where I literally was at my desk, like responding to constituents, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And for me in my life, I've noticed when God starts wrestling with me and I ask myself the question, Crystal, what are you doing? It's time to do something. It's time to shift some things around. And I would say that to you, nothing's going to be easy. Kim is a prime example. She started off in an apartment. Maybe your venue doesn't have to be as big of a scale that you want to start it on or that you see it. It can get there, but maybe you need to just scale down to something that you can afford and build up from there. That's what I would say. But I also would say, don't just quit your day job. You gotta, okay?
Bills must be paid.
Exactly. So I would work on that. It has to be a side hustle until it becomes your main hustle.
Yeah.
All things Kim already touched on.
Well, and what I would add is that, I am big on following my gut. And I do think that there are times when you may not want to admit or embrace. So if you know that without a shadow of a doubt that this is what you are supposed to be doing, then you stay the course. For me, I feel that, coming out of college, starting my business, in my early 20s from that apartment, I knew that I was in my purpose. If this business aligns to your purpose, and you see your product as being something that is differentiated in the marketplace, and you know that you can now explore other ways, crowdfunding, how you go to friends and family to look at ways to raise capital. To your point, I always kept my overhead low. So I didn't start hiring a lot of people initially. I contracted people. So how do you minimize your expenses so that you can continue to invest more into the business? So you can't make the money and go out and buy the Birkin.
Right. Hello.
Okay.
What she said.
Instead, you're going to have to reinvest into the business. And that's going to be a long time coming before you upgrade that car or you go get those J's. You may be in whatever sneakers you wearing now and it'll be a minute. But what I will tell you is that if the product differentiation is there, if the brand and the consumer demand is there, why your Crocs? And in this world to which, we're seeing it show up in different forms, how do you get creative and resourceful? Have you sent Crystal some of your Crocs with her 1 million followers? Like, how do you use product placement to bring awareness? And if you were to get that awareness, could you supply the demand? There are a lot of things that sometimes we have to look at, and it's straight talk. That I sometimes think we're not necessarily ready for, and that's where the hard questions come. But if you're prepared, and your gut says this is a part of what you're supposed to be doing, I believe that passion and purpose can turn to profit.
Okay. I love that. We do a part what I'm going through and what I'm growing through. Yeah, it's so good. And I'll start right now, just based on this topic what we're talking about. We're going through the strike right now. And I am going through a season of reinventing the wheel and trying to figure new things out and working on other passions, things that I'm passionate about that are going to other hustle. It's going to start as a side hustle, but I see this ended up being the main hustle, So looking into that and really researching and learning something new, because I realize now that while acting brings great money and it provides a great life, it also, there's a lot of uncertainties in the future of that, and I'll need to tap into something that I know is, hey, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the real. But acting will come back for you, and it'll come back times 3. But to your point, what else?
What else? Yeah. So that's what I'm going through and growing through right now.
I think going through for me is just that after COVID, my business changed where we grew into new areas. And so that also meant me finding the right talent and skill set, because I'm also trying to work differently.
Yeah.
I work very hard. And Dinorah can have all this hard work, right? My working harder is I'm trying to work smarter.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to change lives. So right now, what I'm going through to hopefully get to is my dream team. So I am looking for folks who want to work. I'm looking for folks who want to work because I have a my operational excellence standard is high.
Yeah.
I am not the easiest person to work for because the reality of it is that I'm Black. The reality of it is that I'm a woman.
Yeah.
So I don't get do-overs in my world.
Ooh.
And so for me, and again, not resting on any laurels and knowing that people are chasing me, what I put out has to be 5-star, best class, disruptive, impactful, moves the needle where, corporations can count where and how we've driven sales and helped to grow market share, right? And so for me, I'm excited about where I'm going to because I have some really cool things in the works.
I'm excited.
But I want, I'm at this point where I want to change other people's lives.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give it away.
That's right. You
know what I mean? But I want, I'm looking at acquisitions. Do I go buy up some boutique firms because they've shown themselves to be of great value?
Yes.
Do I find somebody who actually, being your own boss is not always, for everyone.
Yeah.
And what I find sometimes is that our folks who are out here, they're like, you know what? Yeah. I'm ready to go work for someone.
Somebody
and
else,
that's okay. What I think we've glamorized is this whole thing about being your own boss.
We have.
I just want people to be a boss.
Period. In whatever position that is. I love that. I love that. We do something where we call Keep It Blank, Sweetie, where we fill in the blank. Ooh. Yeah, and this, because just to play off of Keep It Positive, Sweetie. So we're going to say, for me, I'm going to say for this show, keep it significant, sweetie. Because you said something, it's not about the success, it's about the significance. That stuck with me. So I'm going to say
wow. She stole my words, y'all.
I did. I really did what you.
Let's see. Because keep it significant was a good one. Keep it. This is not really one word.
Okay,
but
that's fine. I do that too sometimes.
Keep it in love, sweetie. Because I believe if you at your core do everything rooted in love, I've told you, I'm shrewd, I'm direct.
Yeah.
But if you know my heart and my intention is always rooted in love,
ooh,
the power in how you receive, digest everything I do will be taken in its proper context.
That's so good. That is so good.
Keep it in love, sweetie.
Keep it in love, sweetie. Wow, that was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kimberly Blackwell, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I hope this episode blessed you as much as it blessed me. I'm so excited that I got you on the couch. A fountain.
Right, I'm like, this couch is very powerful. Like, I feel like I went to therapy today.
Everybody says that when they sit here.
Yeah, wonder why.
I might be onto something.
You might be onto something.
Oh man! Oh,
here come another string.
Writer's
strike can't stop that. What?
It sure can't. And it can't. What Beyonce say? Ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling. She started like ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling.
Don't put us together. Don't put us together.
Money, honey. No, but for real, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to write into our Positive Outcomes listener letter, write into keepitpositivesweetie@gmail.com. That is Sweetie with an IE. You can follow Keep It Positive Sweetie on all platforms, and you can follow me on all platforms at Love Crystal Renee, and that is LUV. Kim, let us know where we can find you.
At Kim Blackwell, PMM. At Kim Blackwell, Paul, Mary, Mary.
I love that. All right, we are going to make sure they tap in. Guys, please follow Kimberly. I'm telling you, you will be blessed, inspired. Every time I go to your page, I'm inspired. Make sure you tap into that Sunday, because on Sunday, she going to feed your soul.
Oh, we go to church.
Period.
Bedside Baptist, but we go to church.
We're going to be in there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And in the meantime, you know what to do. Keep it positive, sweetie. See you guys later.